Today, Lok Sabha was adjourned sine amid protest by opposition and treasury benches over the alleged insult to B.R. Ambedkar and directions by Speaker Om Birla to members against holding demonstration at any gate of Parliament.
माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं आप सभी से पुनः आग्रह करता हूं कि संसद की गरिमा मर्यादा बनाए सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। संसद भवन परिसर में किसी भी द्वार पर किसी भी तरह का धरना प्रदर्शन करना उचित नहीं है।
As the proceedings in Lok Sabha started, Speaker called Law Minister Adjourned to present a resolution for setting up a joint committee of Parliament to examine the bills related to One Nation, One Election. In the upper house, Union Law Minister moved the motion to nominate 12 members from Rajya Sabha into the joint parliamentary committee. The motion was passed. The chairman briefed the House on the session's productivity stands at just over 40%, which is 43 hours and 27 minutes of effective functioning. The chairman then adjourned the House sine die. And DD India correspondent Anil Thomas joins us live from the Parliament for more. Joining us from the newsroom. As the winter session concludes, Anil, what would you say were the key takeaways? One nation, one election took centre stage and the JPC was formed.
Well, good afternoon, Shubhendu. Well, very much on expected lines. The big takeaways I would say is that glorious discussion on the 75 years of the Constitution drafting that took place in the upper house and the lower house. And I think the treasury benches, the government using this opportunity well to give a point-by-point rebuttal on all that opposition has been, all the noise that opposition has been creating outside and inside Parliament with regards to issues that they wanted discussion on. Along with that, the JPC, the constitution of the JPC and the timeline that's been given for the first report to be presented, along with the important bills like the National Banking Amendment Bill, the Oil Fields Amendment Bill that Hardeep Singh Puri, Union Petroleum Minister, managed to pass, are all, big achievements that this government has managed to do, especially in this winter session. Though in the Rajya Sabha, the productivity has been close to 40%. But I would say all in all, getting the bill on JPC, getting the bill introduced itself is a big win. And for the opposition, yes, the opposition looked divided when the session began. But as the session concludes, I think the opposition has got a unison voice when it comes to the issues that they want to address. And I think that's what would be something that the opposition feels that they have managed to get something from this session of Parliament. But all in all, if one takes a look at the session, it's been productive both for the Treasury as well as for the opposition benches. Okay, Anil, and besides the legislative business, the session would also be remembered for a string of protests and counter-protests by the members. Exactly, Shubhendu. That's been the low point of this particular 4 weeks of deliberations that we've seen in the Parliament. Remember, Parliament is all about discussions, deliberations, bills being passed, not about disruptions. Disruptions, fine, inside Parliament. Along with that, if you have protests outside Parliament, protests that break into an alleged couple, and FIRs being lodged, I think the citadel of democracy has hit a new low. And I think that's where the parliamentarians need to ponder. I was speaking to many parliamentarians, both from the government and from the opposition. The opposition felt that, they have let down the people, but then it's too late to, repent over it. In the end, 4 weeks, not much of business transactions purely in terms of how this particular house could have been functioned. But yes, lots to ponder for. And I think the next session of Parliament, that's the budget session of Parliament, that's something that's going to be crucial. And I think if the parliamentarians pick a lesson or two from this session, maybe it would do a world of good for the people watching and for the parliamentarians, especially when it comes to transactions in both houses of Parliament. Anil, thank you. And in fact, if you can also give us updates on what is to look forward to now that the session concludes, number of bills such as the One Nation, One Election, it goes to the JPC. What is to look forward to as far as the legislative business in the country is concerned? Was in the Lok Sabha 27 members, Rajya Sabha 12 members being constituted. So altogether 39 members being constituted there in the JPC. The JPC is going to sit down, listen to the merits, demerits of the One Nation, One Election bill, the Constitution Amendment 129 that needs to come into play. And I think the last week And the first day of the last week in the budget session of Parliament, we're going to see the report being presented in Parliament. So it's going to be a long drawn, meetings and deliberations that continue on the merits and demerits of JPC, on the demerits of one nation, one election. Remember, 2024 elections, 37,000 crore rupees were spent on the elections, which is close to 0.02% of your total budget. So that's what the opposition has time and been claiming. It's been an attack on the federal structure of India. And the government has been also very vociferous when it comes to vouching on the merits of one nation, one election when it comes to bringing down cost. But we'll have to wait and what does the JPC report bring to the table? That's when this bill will once again be presented in the House, and we're going to see a full round of discussions.
Anil, thank you for joining us with those updates from the Parliament.